What's good, everyone? Anderson Emerald back here for another quick video to talk about the London Diamond League men's 100 meters, which is going down this Saturday and includes a pretty stacked field, especially considering the time of year that we're currently in. But before we dive in, if you haven't already, be sure to like the video, subscribe to the channel. If you're new, if you've been here for a while, I truly do appreciate your support. Also, of course, I have a few videos on a second channel that you can check out on Noah Lyles in the 200, as well as Shelly-Ann Fraser-Pryce, why she, left the Olympics, Christian Coleman, and, him potentially making the team. Still going to be posting videos here. I'll talk more about that channel in a few, but go in the description, check those things out, subscribe to that channel. But let's dive in today to talk about this men's 100 meters at the London Diamond League. Now, just to set the stage, we've seen a ton of top fields throughout the Diamond League throughout this year already, whether it's at the Prefontaine Classic, the Rabat Diamond League, the Chinese Diamond Leagues in Shanghai, as well as I think it's Suzhou or Xiamen, apologize. So we've seen some top tier fields, but this field is very interesting because we're going to see Noah Lyles as well as Oblique Seville both enter in to the 100 meters for the first time in 2025, and both of them kind of have really interesting storylines developing as they approach the 2025 World Championships. Now, in the field, we have, again, Noah Lyles. He's coming off the Monaco Diamond League. You're going to see Letsile also coming out of Monaco. Zharnel Hughes, he's been having a consistent season. I'll talk about each of the athletes in a moment. Akani Simbine, he's kind of coming back after some time away. We'll dive into him in a second. Akeem Blake is in the field. Jeremiah Azu, Oblique Seville. This is his Diamond League debut, ever. It's going to be interesting. And then you also have Hinchliffe. So a pretty stacked field across the board when talking about this men's 100 meters. And you can kind of see all the entries here. Now, one thing before I actually dive into each of the athletes, taking a look at the last Diamond League London from 2024, we can actually see that it was essentially the exact same field, except Johan Blake was in this as opposed to Oblique Seville. So, little difference there. But Noah, Akani, Letsile, Louis, Akeem, Zharnel, and Jeremiah. Literally the entire same field, just switch Oblique Seville for Johan Blake. Last year, we did see that Noah Lyles, he got the win running 9.81 seconds. This was his last race prior to going to the Olympic Games. Akani Simbine second, Letsile Tebogo third, and we're talking about three guys running 9.8s. Now, as we look forward to this race here on Saturday, it'll be interesting to see how things actually do play out, considering where each of the athletes are at. Now, let's take a look at the top 100 meter guys in 2025. Of course, you have Kashane Thompson with his 9.75. He's not running here. He's running the 4x1. I personally thought he was going to be running the 100 here, but I guess Prefontaine was good enough. And then also 4x1, getting that work in. We'll talk about that maybe a little bit later. Oblique Seville, he's run 9.83 seconds. We'll come back to that in a second. And then you have a whole host of other guys. Akeem Blake, he's run 9.88. You have Akani Simbine, he's run 9.90. Zharnel Hughes, 9.91. So a lot of these top guys have run 9.9 seconds or 9.8 seconds, but let's talk about Oblique Seville for a second, as Oblique Seville is making his Diamond League debut. He has never run a single Diamond League race in his entire career when talking about the 100 meters, ever, literally ever. And he's been competing on the circuit since about 2021 or so, maybe 2022, I think was his kind of real, first major year. But if we look at what he's done this year already, as I said, 9.83 seconds, which he ran at the, in the semis of the in the final of the Jamaican National Championships. He finished second place 6 chain there. But just before this race, I think we all remember where he was, cramping up. They had a delayed start. He was walking back and forth. He was laying out on the track. He was really struggling because he knew he needed to make that 100 meter team. And he eventually was able to do that. Now, when we look forward to a race like this, where he's going up against Noah Lyles, Letsile Tebogo, Akani Simbine, I don't think the London Diamond League is going to phase Oblique Seville because he's been in the trenches, of course, in Olympic and World Finals, but even coming off the Jamaican National Championships where he went toe-to-toe with Kashane Thompson. Now, obviously, he didn't run 9.75 like Kashane, but coming into a race like this, I don't think he's going to be phased. The fact that he's entering this race, to me, indicates that he's probably, healthy and ready to compete. And again, especially because it's his first Diamond League race ever. So he's not going to travel all the way overseas just to, get a race down, just to see where he's at. Nah, I think he's ready to be able to compete. Now, people have been questioning, oh, is he going to be able to beat Noah Lyles, similar to like he did in 2024 at the Racers Grand Prix, where he took down Noah Lyles running 9.82 seconds. Now, I don't know if that's actually going to happen because yes, Noah Lyles, he hasn't actually run a 100-meter race this year. We can see that, he's run 60 meters. He ran a 400, took 3 months off due to his ankle injury, and now he just ran, 19.88. In the description, check out the video that I did kind of breaking down this race. I think because of his Noah Lyles, his 19.88, that indicates that he's in some good form, right? That indicates he's able to really compete with the best like he's shown in years past, and that he is ready to show up at this London Diamond League in the 100, just like he did a few years back when he actually won, or I'm sorry, last year when he actually won against just as stacked of a field. So I would say that Noah is probably very much ready to compete, but is he ready to drop a 9.83 or 9.84 like Oblique Seville might be ready to do? Now, different context where this was from Jamaican National Championships, where you're trying to make that team. That's like where you got to be ready to get top 3 and get your spot to Tokyo. Whereas, the London Diamond League, here it's going to be a little bit different. They're preparing. They still have about a month and a half until about 2 months or so till the World Championship. So different circumstances, but I think Oblique, Noah, it's going to be very competitive. But who I actually think might be a slight favorite coming into this race is Akani Simbine. Akani Simbine has been, of course, the most dominant athlete on the Diamond League circuit throughout 2025, having already, won at the Continental Tour, won that, but won the 2 Diamond Leagues out in China. He also won the Diamond League out in Rabat, and he won the Adidas Atlantic City Games. He's been consistently winning races throughout the entire 2025 season, but then he took some time off. Why? Because he had a very long indoor season as well. He went all the way to the World Indoor Championships, ended up getting a bronze medal. So that long season, competing since February all the way to May, took some time off, and now he's returning to the track. Akani Simbine, I think, has maybe the edge on, favorite to be able to win this 100-meter race because of the consistency on the circuit that he's been able to show. Now, let's be very clear. A race like this isn't indicative of what will occur at the World Championships, right? Yes, it may provide some more data points. It may provide some more information and some, ways to parse out the field a little bit more. But it doesn't mean you win this race, you're going to win the gold medal at the World Championships. No. But I do think Akani Simbine, because of his consistency and his ability to really take down everyone that he's competed against this year, whether it is, Fred Curley, Christian Coleman, Kashane Thompson, right? Like, he's raced, I think, Akeem Blake. Like, he's raced everyone possible this year outside of even Letsile Tebogo, right? He's taken him down. Outside of Oblique Seville, and then also outside of Noah Lyles, who hasn't, raced anyone in the 100, Akani Simbine has been the guy on the circuit. Kashane Thompson has been building that repertoire, but I mean, it's hard to say that Akani Simbine in this specific field, again, we're talking about this 100 meters with Noah Lyles, Oblique Seville, Letsile, right? I think that Akani is probably the edge-on favorite. Now, I do think Oblique Seville and Noah Lyles are very capable of running 9.8s, but if I was to pick someone in this race, I might go with Akani Simbine. Now, on top of that, we have Letsile Tebogo, who is coming off the second place to Noah Lyles at the Monaco Diamond League, but just a few days ago, he also lost a 100-meter race to Jerome Blake, where he ran 10.07 seconds into a headwind, but he did finish second place there. Now, in my opinion, personally, this wasn't any indication of anything to me, right? Letsile just ran 19.76 in Eugene. He then came over to Europe, ran 19.97, finished second place there. And then he ran a one-off 100 meters just 4 days later. I think his goal has been the London Diamond League, and I'll be honest, not to say it takes away from like him finishing second or Jerome Blake winning, but in this specific meet, from my understanding, I think like Letsile's team runs this meet, like his agent or his manager or something like that. So like, I think he has obligations to show up. Now, again, let me be clear. It doesn't take away from the fact that he finished second place and, Jerome Blake got a very strong win. I just think that there's maybe obligations of like, okay, I got to come and race here, as opposed to this is a really, really important meet where I have to show myself and put it down a good performance. I think the London Diamond League is where Letsile Tebogo is really going to show up and, be competitive. Now, let's be very clear. He actually hasn't been doing that well on the Diamond League circuit in the 100. Of course, he was dealing with injuries early on, but, in the 100 meters a little bit earlier, he ran the 2 Chinese Diamond Leagues and finished 7th place and 3rd place, respectively, right? And then he ran in the 100 meters at the Rabat Diamond League. He finished 9th place. That's when he revealed he did have an injury. Now, he is back and he's healthy. We know that from his 200-meter races, but I don't know if he's going to beat out Noah Lyles, Akani Simbine, and then Oblique Seville is a toss-up because, again, first Diamond League coming over to Europe, like it's a toss-up there. But it'll be interesting to see how he does play out. Few other athletes in the field. You have Akeem Blake. He's coming off his personal best of 9.88 to get third place at Jamaican National Championships. He did run in Prefontaine, ran 10.03. So, you know, decent, came fifth place. I think he's rebuilding, right? Jamaican trials, he had to make the team. Now he's rebuilding towards the World Championships. He'll probably be in the mix. I think Akeem Blake is one who's consistent enough on the circuit where, you know, he's a Diamond League champion from last year. So we'll see him in that mix. Zharnel Hughes also has been quietly having a very consistent season, especially after injury last year, which prevented him from being able to make the final at the Olympic Games. But he's also the bronze medalist from 2023. At the Prefontaine Classic, he got second place to Kashane Thompson, and he ran 9.91 seconds, which is a season's best for him, right? He had run 9.87, but that was windy down at the Miami Grand Slam track meet. But 9.91 seconds, and he ran down Trayvon Bromell in that race to get second place. So I like where Zharnel Hughes is at. He is someone who's going to have the London crowd. He's going to have that energy. So we'll see how that plays out. The last two, Jeremiah Azu, he's been up and down this season. Recently, he did just run 10.08. You know, actually, this was just a couple days ago as well. But, you know, he's a world indoor champion. I think last year he had run sub 10 seconds, maybe a few times, but, you know, he ran 9.997. So, you know, it's interesting. He'll be in the conversation, but I think he's a one to look for to potentially make a final at World Championships. In a race like this, it's like so stacked and everyone is like really looking good that it's hard to say that he'll really be like top 3 or 4 or 5, but who knows, right? And then Louis Hinchliffe. Louis Hinchliffe is coming off injury. So he competed out in Italy early this season and he ran 11.65, but he got injured in that race. Later on, though, actually recently, earlier this month, he ran 10.08. So back in form, but I'm not going to say that Louis is going to be a real threat in this 100-meter race, but it's good to have him competing in his home crowd. And he made the semifinals at the Olympics last year and ran relatively well. So I don't know. We'll see how he does play out. But this 100-meter field is pretty stacked across the board. And the key things I'm looking forward to are what will Noah Lyles open up with in the 100? What will Oblique Seville do here? Again, coming off his 9.8s at the Jamaican trials and coming off the little setback, but in his first Diamond League race, what will he be able to do here? And then also Akani Simbine, can he win this race? Because he's been undefeated throughout the entire outdoor season. Can he actually win this race, or will someone take that spot from him on the Diamond League circuit? And then Letsile Tebogo. Will he actually kind of like bounce back from his, you know, poor showings early on because of the injury that he was dealing with? Or will he kind of still be in the middle of the pack, but then show up when we get to the World Championships? I don't know. But just a quick preview and overview of this men's 100 meters at the London Diamond League. Of course, I'll have a preview of the full Diamond League coming a little bit closer to, you know, maybe Friday or so. I also have a couple other videos I want to talk about some little stories that have come up over the past couple days. So maybe either tomorrow or so, a couple of the stories that'll be coming up. Again, check the description for the more in-depth stories that I have on that second channel. Again, this is not going anywhere. I'll talk more about why I started that channel in a few, but let me know what you think about this 100-meter race. Be sure to like the video, subscribe to the channel. Always truly appreciate y'all. Thanks for watching.